This week on Quality Digest Live, is ISO 9001 certification really worth it? This week, we talk with the president of one company who says it is. Join us when we come back. Welcome back to Quality Digest Live. QDL is your weekly look at who and what is making news in the world of quality. I'm Dirk Ducharme, Editor-in-Chief of Quality Digest. You know, one of the big questions we get all the time from people who aren't maybe really familiar with it is ISO 9001 certification worth it? And not just ISO 9001, any of the ISO 9000 quality management system standards, and some of the other standards. So we're talking like a ISO 17025 lab certification, or maybe ISO 13485 for medical devices, ISO 14001, AS 9100, and so forth. And the answer is, you know, it depends. In some cases, you have to get certain certifications, either because your customer requires it or because it helps you meet some regulatory requirement. Some people see value strictly for marketing purposes. And in other words, they might get ISO 9001 because they think it'll help them make sales. And for others, along with all that, is the value that the process itself actually brings to the company. So today we're going to talk to Nimit Patel, president of Hydraulic Manifolds USA, to get some answers straight from someone who has gone through the ISO 9001 certification journey. Nimit, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me here.
Hey, no problem. Before we get started, why don't you just tell us about what your company, Hydraulic Manifolds USA, does? And in fact, I think we got a picture of some of the equipment that you guys make.
Sure, yeah. Hydraulic Manifolds, as the name says it all, you know, we are the manufacturers of hydraulic integrated circuit. Essentially, it's machine components. The manifold is the core component, and the various components are assembled on top of the manifold to make it an entire hydraulic system. We have been in business since 1971, earlier known as Selling Precision. You know, we did a name change a few years back, just so that we can kind of easily identify it out to the customer world and be better kind of known for what we do best.
And who's your market mostly? Automotive, aerospace, what?
Well, hydraulics are used kind of across you know, the width of the various spectrum, I should say. You know, our components goes up to places like NASA, as well as it goes to places like Disney World. It goes to various bridge applications, industrial applications, for various mobile construction equipments, for forestry equipments, oil and gas. So it's one of those things is like in a day, everybody kind of has at least witnessed one hydraulic systems.
It sounds like both large and small manifolds is what you guys, manifolds of any size.
Correct. They vary from, you know, they're from half a pound, I would say just roughly even smaller, to sometimes several hundreds, more than 1,000 pounds. Okay. Some of the big ones we have made, they're essentially, I would say, maybe 4,000 or 5,000 pounds. So for various bridge applications.
And how long have you had, we mentioned that the reason we're talking today is that you are a company that is ISO 9001 certified. How long have you had your certification?
We actually got certified just a few months ago. However, we have been kind of, you know, adopting some of those practices, surprisingly, for past several years, you know, trying to kind of integrate and create a system to measure, you know, some of the areas which to cover it all is what we started enabling it from past few months.
Okay.
And we kind of passed ISO 9000 audit with flying colors, right from the, you know, the sales, engineering, design, all the way to manufacturing, assembly, and the distribution of hydraulic components.
And,
which
and
varies
why did
people,
you
by the
do it?
way.
Why did you pursue certification? What did you see going into it as the value for you to do that?
Back in the several decades ago, when people used to do business, I believe they were more of a relationship-based customers where, oh, I know Dirk, and Dirk does a good job, and I can trust him. So let's give this work to him. Nowadays, with the internet age, the more globalization, people are more onto saying that, okay, means how do I trust you? What really, how do I make sure that you're going to fulfill my needs? With people, process, technology, it gives assurance to the customer that there is a quality management system in place. So no matter even if we are doing a business for 50 years, means to get into the various big OEMs when they want to kind of give us $50,000 job, $100,000 job, or even more. They want a trusted partner who they can trust, who they know that they have a system in place, and who they know that they handle risks appropriately.
Were these customers were some of them requiring that you be ISO 9001 certified, or did it just open you up to customers who were just maybe looking for that, but it wasn't necessarily a requirement?
There had been a group of customers that had been requesting, and we did notice it up in the past recent years that they would like to have a trusted partner. There had been cases where when we said that, okay, we are not, they kind of had us fill out pretty much a 10-page sheet, which essentially kind of goes through more like a audit scenario, quasi audit, and they would come to find out that, okay, if we are good or not. But essentially having an ISO 9000, now I feel it allows us to get some big OEM customers who we can do some big ticket works, and it kind of separates us apart from some of the other machine shops, and which basically are more like in the smaller category.
Okay. So, did you learn something from doing that that was valuable for you as a company?
Yes, a lot of things. Previously, my background has been project management. Up on I've also kind of seen the risk assessment evaluation. So what I guess the perception that people have about ISO 9001 truly what it is, especially with the 2015 standard. With the 2015 standard, they don't necessarily want paperworks everywhere. What they want is like, do you have a system in place to manage risk? Do you have a system in place to kind of evaluate where your risks are? And do you have a system in place where you are trying to make some continuous improvements, where your gaps are, where your drainage is, and what are you doing to improve and to improve the health of the organization? So I truly consider the 9001 2015 standard in particular a more robust and more, something that we can integrate as part of a routine life, which helps kind of improve the, the productivity as well as the, and also the various risks as it gets involved with handling the courts to fulfilling the orders. With deliveries, with basically production in-house. So we have now a measurement system in place.
Did you discover anything about the way you were currently running the business, or the way you handled certain processes that you just didn't realize? Maybe discovered a problem that maybe you didn't really know existed?
Yes, so that's I think an ongoing process is as it's a common statement out there is to improve, you got to measure it. So we didn't have a lot of measurement system in place, as part of the production, as part of the deliveries. and we started kind of enacting those processes in terms of how quickly we do a code request, how what is our average kind of from order received to delivery time. We went through also some of the lean process reviews as part of this whole big ISO QMS. So it kind of allowed us to see us internally as well as externally. It allowed us to see what customer thinks of us. Where are our strengths? Where are our weaknesses? Are our pricings in line with the rest of the world? Is our product in line with the rest of the world? It means geographically doing a SWOT analysis allowed us to see how do we really are in the market space in terms of competing with our competition, as well as how do we. It allows us to strategize, in terms of how do we want to separate ourselves, discriminate ourselves in the market space, so we can kind of be better secured for now and for the future.
Is there an example of something that you can tell us where, as going through your journey of looking at your processes and preparation for ISO 9001, something a process that you discovered that could have been improved or that was improved as a result of all this? Kind of a concrete example?
I'm trying to think. From the production side, we started kind of measuring. We had been kind of having a more like I would say a loose system where we would be measuring the machine run times, the down times, the setup times to do the jobs. We improved on that. So that is more on the production side. Onto the quotes side, so we are custom made to order. So it does add challenges, and sometimes customer doesn't have all the information when they come up to get a quote. Sometimes they have a napkin sketches. Sometimes they have a circuit which has issues. So all of these things, we started capturing them, and also our team got challenged with like, okay, how do we respond to our quotes quickly? Because time is money for customers. They are sometimes willing to pay $10 more if they can get moving quickly. So that's where some of this thing comes in. How do we create an internal process where we can bank on those type of opportunities, where we can provide quotes quickly, ahead of everybody else, where customer, if they need to make a decision in a short period of time period, then we are there to help them.
Okay. Have you had any feedback from your customers in terms of changes that you've made to your processes? Whether it's gee, your delivery time is faster, or your response is quicker, or whatever. Has this seemed to have made a difference? I guess is what I'm asking. That your customers are actually able to experience and comment on, or has this been more just a streamlining internally that only you would see?
There are some a sample of customers who have complimented, for where it feels it gives them basically that okay, looks like things are, means you are getting better, okay. Means and then we are seeing some increased surge in terms of the work-wise. Some of the customers that earlier during last year, we had them up on the sidebar. We told them that, okay, we are going through the ISO 9000 process. We will get ourselves certified soon enough. So we have started kind of engaging with them, and, they are basically kind of, in the process of placing some big orders.
Okay.
So it's an ongoing process, and we feel positive about, in terms of accomplishing what we did.
So if just to wrap up here, it sounds like this has been a positive experience from you. From what you said, it sounds like it's helped you gain some customers, get into some markets or some customers that you wouldn't have maybe been able to reach before. It's helped you streamline your processes, kind of helped you out internally. So what words of advice or what encouragement would you give those companies who, like you said right at the top of the show, a lot of people, we get asked all the time, is this worth it? Should I do it? you know, it sounds like it's going to be a big hassle, sounds like it's going to disrupt my business, you know, I know there's going to be some expense in it. Should I really do it? What would you tell those people who are hesitating?
Well, just like everything else, I would say, give it a try. I think now with the 2015 standards, the process and the requirements from the ISO has become much leaner, and then they understand that, they don't want to overburden you with the processes that doesn't apply. And then I was directly involved as part of this whole thing. And, we try to kind of create the processes, not just because, that somebody said that, okay, ISO requires it. And this is where, I had the dialogues back and forth with the auditors and with some of the folks beforehand. And we kind of realized, how is it applicable to our business? How does it help us reduce the risk, and how does it help us improve? So that's the thing that you have to put the perspective. And if you're on for that, I think ISO has the tools, the framework to help you with that. And I'm sure, every manufacturer, if they adopt these tool sets, they will find it useful.
Great. Well, congratulations on being certified to ISO 9001. I know it's a big job to go through that, and so I'm sure you and your employees are glad that the whole process of getting there is settled down. So congratulations on that. A good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, we've been talking to Nimit Patel, president of Hydraulic Manifolds USA. Thanks again for joining us. As you heard, his company went through the whole process of becoming registered, certified to ISO 9001. It's a big job, but as you can see, at least Nimit felt that it was valuable for hydraulic manifolds. So it's something you should consider. Like he said, nothing to lose. You go through the process. If you don't get certified, you at least gain something from the knowledge and probably improved your internal processes to boot. So that is it for today's Quality Digest Live. As usual, if you have some ideas of who or what you would like to see on the show, let us know, and we will bring them on. You can send those ideas to us at qdl@qualitydigest.com. So thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next week. So long.